maybe write some stuff online, and they're still kind of not doing any of that either. It's even like more upsetting.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you playing at?
Hello beautiful beings, it's Rebecca, the vegan pixie warrior, and welcome to my channel. If you've not been here before, my channel is all about uplifting and celebrating other activists and promoting all the different wide range of activism that there is, also talking about the Liberation Pledge. Today I'm talking to the beautiful Ellie, aka Vegan Gaze. We decided after our interview about her activism that it would be beneficial to you to do a couple more videos. In this one, we're talking about activism and how people view activism. And I think it's probably the same as most people. I was the same. I just thought it was direct action, breaking into farms, cubes of truth. But there are so many different forms. So we're tackling that subject. And I'm hoping by the end of this, you'll be inspired to go out there and get active.
Hi, and welcome back again, Ellie, to my channel, Vegan Pixie Warrior. Today, we're talking about a subject of what is activism.
Yeah, because I get kind of confused. I don't feel comfortable almost saying I am an activist because I haven't done the things that I typically think an activist does, like, protest, marching, outreach, recording. I haven't done those things for a little while, make a lot because of COVID and stuff, and restrictions on traveling and stuff. But what would you say constitutes as activism for you?
For me, what constitutes activism is standing up for something that you know is wrong. Like, standing against something that's is wrong. Is that the right words? So doing something to prevent it and to stop it and make these horrific things known about. So whether that's doing street activism, whether it's filming on a farm, whether it's direct action and taking pigs away, or whether it's wearing a vegan hoodie, or where it's
I've got
stickering. Herbivore, yeah. But I did some activism in my 20s. I tied myself to a tree to stop a tree getting cut down. I was a proper hippie that didn't actually, that I still contributed towards the death. And I was like, oh, I'm all about peace and love, man. But I was still eating animals. So turn that around. But what about you? What do you think about when you think of activist? What do you think of?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I am comfortable if someone says they're an activist and does those things, that they do that. But I just feel uncomfortable. I think it's because when I was doing all activism and stuff, there was this conversation, and I think it was like mainly Facebook, where people were fighting over what activism even is. Because I think what happened was because back in like 2014, 15, 16, there was this kind of, like Freely the Banana Girl, all these like people who would just kind of drink smoothies, be in bikinis, show off their like their sculpted bodies, and
I can't do that.
And and they'd say, well, I could, but I think people would file complaints. But, yeah, and they were saying, oh, this is activism. And I think technically it is, but it wound people up to the point where they were like, nope, that's not activism. This is activism. So that's why I think I feel uncomfortable. I get scared that someone's going to like fight me if I say, oh yeah, what I do on my channel is activism, even though it technically is, like talking on TikTok, I'm like fighting like
Teenagers.
Yeah, well, some of them you'd hope, you're just like, oh yeah, this is a platform for children, but then you see their profile pictures and they're like old farmers. So it's like, oh, and you're speaking like that.
Yeah.
It's like, so I guess it all is, and that's why if if you're telling people that they should go active, and that's kind of like the ethos of your channel, it's almost like even worse because I could kind of understand why someone, if they have like a certain disability or they have a certain fear or something, that it might be kind of scary to do some
Mm.
sort of outreach. And that's why something like a cube is kind of good, because if you are and you can't speak, then you can wear the mask and stuff. So you
Yeah.
still, helpful. However, if you're telling people that, just to like maybe write some stuff online and they're still kind of not doing any of that either, it's even like more upsetting.
Yeah.
It's like what are you playing at? There's something you could do and you're not doing it. Why not?
No. And like sharing stuff. So I did that activism series over Christmas for the Advent calendar, and there was a really good idea that my friend came up with, and she said, put in a vegan recipe, print it off, and put it in the Christmas cards before you send it out.
Mm-hmm.
I thought was a great idea. And there's so many little things that you can do if you don't want to. I get it. Some people don't want to talk to people on the street. Some people have that anxiety attack and they don't, they're not confident enough to do it, and it's not for everybody. And that's the whole point. There is activism for everybody. There's so many
Mm-hmm.
things that you can
There
do.
is. And even if you don't think you can do it, you should try. Like, because, when I was a student at uni, like I didn't go to my lectures, and there was this one time I went for a while, but because I'd got myself so anxious about it, I sat in the room and I just thought I was going to an intense feeling that I was like going to throw up. So
Mm.
I just left and I didn't go back to any more of the lectures. So that was a period of time where, I was suffering anxious feelings so heavily that I couldn't go and do my education. However, and I wouldn't even now. I don't feel comfortable like talking to people in the street. I really don't. But you might find, if you, and this isn't to say, oh, you don't care about it enough, but you might find upon caring about it as much as you do, or the way in which you care about it, it alleviates all those feelings, and those feelings just take a back seat, and you're like, wow, you're not even aware. You're just kind of like, and I don't know, I kind of feel, I don't know what zone you get into, but I think what I seem to see is as if I'm talking and there are like animals behind me. I know that's
Okay.
kind of like weird, but I
No,
would
I don't think that's weird at all. I don't think
yeah,
that's weird.
I'd suggest that to people, because I get very, I don't know how I stream or anything, because I'm very socially rubbish. I really am. I can't speak to people if you know, um, but when I'm doing that, I'm literally just imagining that I'm speaking. I'm a voice, a vessel almost. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So that could be helpful. Just definitely try it out, because you never know. You might actually surprise yourself, and then get like a newfound level of confidence.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what happened to me. I think we talked about this before as well, that I mean, I suffer with anxiety. It's been a lot better since I've been vegan, and it's been way better since I've become an activist. But
mhm.
my anxiety was so bad that we had dinner booked with friends that we've had for 20 years, and half an hour before I would cancel, I wouldn't go. And
Oh yeah.
it was my husband's birthday, and I organised a table at a restaurant and for all our friends, and he went on his own without me. I couldn't go because I was just
Oh.
so anxious about it going out.
Mhm.
And then I have that still, I feel that anxiety still, but I
Mm.
can not manage it. That's the wrong way. I'm kind of aware of it a lot
Mhm.
more. And when we've got a visitor, there's going to be a big fluffy tail. There we go. Um, it's the Lord Vader. So yeah, but when I'm going out, the same as you, when I'm going out and doing street activism and I'm going to be talking to the public, I just tell myself that I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for the animals. You look, this mic's really good. You can't purr, darling, because it's going to pick you up. You've got the loudest purr. But yeah, I just remember why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for the animals. You're ruining everything. What are you doing? There you go.
Oh,
My
they're
plant-based
fluffy.
cat. Very fluffy. Yeah, but that, like you, I feel like I'm a vessel for the animals and talking for them. I'm not doing it for me.
Mhm.
I'm doing it for them, and also to help people make that connection as well, because I still find it amazing after 2.5 years of doing street activism how grateful people, strangers, complete strangers, are for me telling them about what happens.
Mhm. Yeah. That's the That's the thing. And people do really want to have these discussions. I think they, because this sort of thing does bother them. There's just not really this kind of obligation or mandatory discussion that you have about it. So when someone does come along and they're like, oh, this thing that you're uncomfortable about, it's because it's wrong, by the way. It is because it's wrong, and you don't actually have to do it. So here's how. And I think people appreciate that. I think people appreciate being challenged in those ways of, like, especially, if you're a good person, at heart, genuinely, like, all you really care about is making sure that you're not doing anything harmful. It's not, obviously your defenses come up because you're like, no, wait, I'm a good person.
Yeah.
No. But when that defense is gone, if you really are a good person, you look at it and go, okay, well, a good person wouldn't do this thing knowingly, so I'm not going to do that. So I think people are thankful that you help them grow. You're giving them that opportunity in that way. So
Definitely.
yeah.
And even if you just turn up and, like you said, just stand there and hold the TV, and if you're not comfortable to do outreach, and just do it once, just try it once. It's why vigils are not my favorite form of activism, but I find that it gives me fire in my belly to get out there and do more when I actually look those animals in the eyes and see their individual personality, and especially with the pigs, because their eyes are so human-like.
I know, it's freaky.
Yeah.
And it's as well, it's like, even if you are at one of these things and you don't want to talk to anyone, like, you're actually really helpful just by merit of standing there doing nothing, because not only because you can hold up a telly or something, I should say TV, it might confuse people holding up a TV, a tele. But sometimes you go to these events and they dwindle because there's so few people
Yeah.
that you feel kind of unsafe. It feels like people are looking at you and not taking you seriously because you're just kind of like a couple of people. But if there are more people who just turn up, they've not really got anything to say, and they just go, oh, you might want to talk to my friend, like, they'll tell you, like, you just being there is really helpful for the morale of an event. And
Yeah.
so you help in more ways than you think. Definitely.
I mean, I was talking about this earlier with somebody else, and we were saying how numbers make such a difference. Like, if we've got I mean, I don't do cubes of truth anymore, but when I did, if we had a cube of like 6 volunteers, and then a difference between that and 22 volunteers was massive. The effect it would have on the public, and how many people it would draw, and then also the effect it would have on activists, because you share that around on social media and you've got 22 people in a group photo, and they're like, oh, I want to be a part of that. So come and be a part of it. Honestly, it will change your life. Like, my activist friends are, I don't know where I'd be without them. Their support and their knowledge, and the way that it's this whole community, and it is like a second family. I'm so grateful to all of them. Sorry, I'm trying to keep this cat entertained.
But yeah, no, I think anything, I think you're right, like, anything that is talking about an important subject, I think we shouldn't get caught up and think like that's enough. We should always be testing, oh, we could do more, we do this more effectively, like, so definitely, yeah, I think I won't be as scared to call myself an activist. But, yeah.
No, and putting yourself out of your comfort zone, like me going out on the streets and talking to the public, was massively outside of my comfort zone. Putting up a YouTube channel, I had such anxiety about doing that, and
It's scary.
It is really scary.
I hope you enjoyed that. Ellie's lovely. I really enjoyed talking to her. She's so much fun. We've got another one coming up. But if you have been inspired to get involved in activism, please drop a comment below and let me know. I'll pop a link to Ellie's YouTube channel if you don't know who she is already, which I'm sure most of my viewers know who she is. But you can go and check her out also. Massive thank you to my patrons that support me on my Patreon page. If you want to support me in making more content and inspiring others to get active, then check out the link below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like and share this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.